The cell was cold. It had been cold for 93 days. Princess Liara stopped counting after that. Time meant nothing here in the dark. She sat in the corner of her prison, knees pulled to her chest. Her royal robes were gone. They had taken them weeks ago. Now she wore gray prisoner clothes that smelled like metal and fear. Her long silver hair hung in tangles around her face. She did not care anymore. The Krell guards walked past her cell every hour. They laughed at her. They called her broken bird and fallen star. Sometimes they threw food at her. Sometimes they forgot to bring food at all. Liara ate when they remembered. She slept when the lights went dark. She breathed because her body did not know how to stop. Once, she had been important. Once, she had walked through marble halls, wearing crowns made of starlight. People bowed when she passed. Her words could start wars or create peace, but that was before the Krell captured her ship, before they killed her guards, before they locked her in this metal box floating in space. The Veltorian Empire would not save her. She knew this now. Her aunt, the Empress, had sent messages at first, strong words, threats, promises. But the Krell only laughed. They wanted the Veltorian people to watch their princess die. They wanted to break the spirit of an entire civilization. Liara wondered if it would hurt when they finally killed her. She wondered if anyone would remember her name. The lights in her cell flickered. This was new. Liara lifted her head slowly. Her neck hurt from sitting still for so long. The lights flickered again, then went red. Alarms started screaming through the station. She stood up. Her legs shook. When was the last time she stood? An explosion rocked the station. Liara fell against the wall. More explosions followed. The Krell were shouting outside her cell. She heard weapons firing. The sounds were different from Krell guns. Sharper, faster. Her cell door glowed orange. Someone was cutting through it. Liara backed away, her heart beating fast for the first time in months. Was this how they would kill her? During some prison riot? The door exploded inward. Smoke filled the cell. Liara could not see anything. She heard footsteps, heavy boots on metal floor. Then a voice spoke in rough, broken Veltorian. "Princess Liara, we are here for you. Can you walk?" The smoke cleared enough for her to see him. A soldier, but not Krell. Not Veltorian. This soldier was human. She had seen humans before. During trade meetings, her people thought they were weak, primitive, new to space travel and unimportant. But this human did not look weak. He wore black armor covered in scratches and burn marks. Blood dripped from his shoulder. He carried a large gun that glowed with blue energy. His face was young but hard. His dark eyes found hers through the smoke. You came for me?" Liara's voice broke. She barely recognized it. When had she last spoken? "Yes, Your Highness. I am Corporal Day, Terran Defense Corps." He stepped closer. "We need to move. Now. Can you walk?" Liara looked at him. Really looked at him. This human had come into a Krell prison station. He was bleeding, fighting, for her. A species his people barely knew. A princess his government probably did not care about. "Why?" she whispered. "Later," Day said. He held out his hand. "Please, princess, we do not have much time." Behind him, more humans appeared. A woman with short black hair and a medical bag. A tall man with scars on his face carrying 2 rifles. A young soldier who could not be older than 20. They all looked at her with the same expression. Determination. Purpose. Liara realized she had forgotten something important in her months of captivity. She had forgotten what hope looked like. She took Day's hand. His grip was strong and warm. Real. He pulled her gently from the cell, supporting her weight when her legs almost gave out. "I have you," he said quietly. "You are safe now." Safe. Liara almost laughed. They were in a Krell prison station surrounded by enemies. Alarms screamed, guns fired in the distance. Nothing about this was safe, but his hand held hers firmly. His body moved between her and the door, protecting her without hesitation, and somehow, impossibly, she believed him. "This way!" the woman with the medical bag shouted. "Hangar Bay 3, move!" They ran. Liara stumbled more than ran, but Day kept her upright. The corridors flashed past in red emergency lighting. Krell soldiers appeared around corners. The humans shot first, moved fast, covered each other with practiced ease. Liara watched in amazement. She had seen many species fight. The Veltorians fought with discipline and ancient tradition. The Krell fought with brutal strength and numbers. But humans fought differently. They adapted, changed tactics every second, used the station against itself. The young soldier threw something small at a door. It exploded, sealing the corridor behind them. The scarred man shot out the lights, giving them darkness to hide in. The woman threw Liara over her shoulder when she fell, carrying her like she weighed nothing. And Day moved like water and steel combined. He shot with deadly accuracy, called out orders in sharp, quick words, never left her side. They reached the hangar bay. A small ship waited with engines already running. More Krell soldiers poured in from the other side. There were too many. The humans formed a circle around Liara, firing in all directions. "Get her on the ship!" Day shouted. "Not without you!" Liara surprised herself by shouting back. When had she started caring if this human lived or died? Day looked back at her. He smiled. Actually smiled. "Your Highness, you just gave me an order. I thought you royals did not do that for common soldiers." Liara stopped. He was right. She had given an order, spoken with command in her voice, cared about someone other than herself. For 3 months, she had been broken, empty, a shadow of her former self. But this human soldier, this corporal Day from a species her empire dismissed, had walked into her cell and reminded her of something. She was still alive, and alive meant she could still fight. "Everyone on the ship!" Day ordered. "Now!" They ran for the ship together. Plasma fire lit up the hangar like lightning. The young soldier fell. The scarred man grabbed him, dragged him forward. The woman laid down, covering fire with both guns. Liara reached the ship's ramp. She turned back. Day was still out there, firing his weapon to give the others time. Without thinking, without remembering she was a princess who had never held a weapon in her life, Liara grabbed a fallen rifle. She did not know how to use it, but she pointed it at the Krell and pulled the trigger. The gun kicked hard. Her shots went wild. But it was enough. The Krell scattered for 1 second. 1 second was all Day needed. He ran up the ramp. The ship's door closed behind him. The engines roared. As the station fell away below them, as space opened up around them, Liara sat on the cold ship floor and realized something strange. She had completely forgotten she was a princess. For the first time in her entire life, she had just been herself. Just Liara. And it felt like waking up from a very long sleep. The ship shook violently. Red lights flashed across every surface. Liara gripped her seat with both hands, her knuckles turning pale blue. "We took too much damage at the station!" the woman shouted from the pilot seat. "Hull breach in 3 sections. Life support is failing." Day moved through the shaking ship with steady steps. He checked on each of his squad members. The young soldier, Quan, had a leg wound. The scarred man, Byung, was bleeding from his head. The woman pilot, Rin, fought with the controls. "Can we make it to the rendezvous point?" Day asked. Rin shook her head. "Not a chance. We need to land, now." "Where?" "There." Rin pointed at a green and blue moon on the screen. "It has atmosphere, probably has water, maybe has things that want to eat us. But it's better than dying in space." Day looked at the moon for a long moment. Then he nodded. "Do it." The ship fell toward the moon like a stone. Liara had flown in many ships, royal cruisers, diplomatic vessels, luxury transports. They all landed smoothly, gently. This was not gentle. This was controlled falling. Trees rushed up to meet them. The ship crashed through branches, metal screaming. They hit the ground hard. Liara's head snapped forward. Everything went black. When she woke, smoke filled the ship. Someone was carrying her. She opened her eyes and saw Day's face above her. "Easy," he said. "We crashed. You hit your head. Can you stand?" Liara tried. Her legs worked, though everything hurt. Day set her down carefully, keeping one hand on her arm until he was sure she could balance. Outside, the jungle was loud. Birds or something like birds called from the trees. Insects buzzed. The air was thick and hot and smelled like growing things. So different from her cell. So different from the cold metal of space stations. Rin was already working on the ship's communication equipment. Most of it was broken. Byung checked their weapons and supplies. Quan sat against a tree, his leg bandaged, trying not to show pain. "How bad?" Day asked Rin. "Bad. Long-range communications are completely destroyed. Short-range might work, but there's no one close enough to hear us. The beacon is transmitting, but it's weak. Could take days for anyone to find us. Could take weeks." "And the Krell?" "They were definitely following us. If they tracked where we went down, they could be here in hours." Day was quiet for a moment. Then he started giving orders. "Byung, find us a defensive position, somewhere we can hide the ship. Rin, keep working on communications. See if you can boost the beacon. Quan, rest that leg. We need you mobile." He turned to Liara. "Your Highness, stay close to me." "I can help," Liara said. The words surprised her as much as they surprised him. "You need to rest. I have rested for 3 months." Her voice was stronger than before. "I may not be a soldier, but I can carry things. I can work. Please, let me help." Day studied her face. Then he nodded. "Okay. Help me gather supplies from the ship." They worked together in silence. Liara carried water containers and food packs. Her muscles ached. She was weak from months of captivity, but the pain felt good. It felt like being alive. Byung found a cave system half a mile from the crash site. They moved everything there, hiding the ship as best they could with branches and mud. By the time the sun set, they had a small camp inside the cave. Rin cooked something from their rations. It smelled strange, but tasted fine. Liara ate slowly. Real food. Not the pace the Krell had given her. She almost cried. "So," Quan said, looking at Liara. "No offense, Your Highness, but why did we do this? I mean, I know why Day wanted to. But Command said no. We could all be court-martialed. We definitely lost our chance at promotion. Might even go to prison ourselves. For one person. No offense." "Quan," Day said in a warning tone. "No, he is right to ask," Liara said quietly. "I am wondering the same thing. Why did you come for me? Your human governments did not send you. The Galactic Council abandoned negotiations. I am worth nothing to your people. So why?" Rin spoke first. "My brother was sick once. Very sick. The hospital on our colony could not help him. A Veltorian medical ship stopped at our station. They did not have to help. We were not important. But they saved him anyway. They said all life has value." She looked at Liara. "I believe that too." Byung grunted. "I was a soldier before I was human. Soldiers do not leave people behind. Simple as that." Quan shrugged. "Dai is my squad leader. Where he goes, I go. Even if it is stupid. Which this definitely was. But here we are." Liara turned to Day. "And you?" Day stared into the small fire they had made. "When I was young, my village was attacked. Raiders. They took people, killed others. I hid in a cellar. I heard my neighbors screaming. I did nothing because I was afraid." He looked up at her. "I swore I would never hide again. Never leave someone to suffer when I could help. You were suffering. So we came." Something tightened in Liara's chest. "I do not understand you humans. The galaxy says you are weak, primitive, that you do not matter in the great game of empires. She shook her head. But you risk everything for a stranger. You cross space to save one person. My own people, my own family, they left me to die for politics. But you, her voice broke. You came? Yeah, well, Rin said with a small smile. We are stupid like that. Liara laughed. It shocked her. When had she last laughed? The sound was strange and wonderful. They talked into the night. Day told stories about Earth, about rain and snow, about oceans that covered half the world, about farms where things grew from dirt instead of tanks. Liara listened like a child hearing fairy tales. She told them about her home, the crystal palaces, the 3 moons, the ceremony where she had to stand perfectly still for 6 hours wearing a crown that weighed 30 pounds. They laughed at that. She found herself laughing too. When the others went to sleep, Liara stayed by the fire. Day sat beside her. Cannot sleep? He asked. I am afraid if I close my eyes, I will wake up back in that cell. That this is all a dream. It is real, I promise. They sat in comfortable silence. The jungle sang around them, strange and beautiful and alive. Day? Liara said quietly. Yes? What is it like, being normal? He looked at her with those dark, serious eyes. What do you mean? You choose your path. Choose your friends. Choose what matters to you. You are not born into a role you cannot escape. No one expects you to be perfect, to always say the right words, to hide everything you feel. She pulled her knees to her chest. I have been a princess my entire life. I do not know how to be anything else. I do not know who I am without the title. Day was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, I think you are finding out. What? When you grabbed that rifle at the station, when you demanded to help today, when you laughed just now, those were not princess actions. Those were Liara actions. He smiled slightly. I think you are more than your title. You just forgot for a while. Liara stared at him. No one had ever spoken to her like this. Like she was a person. Not a political piece. Not a symbol. Just a person. Thank you, she whispered. For what? For reminding me I am alive. Above them, unfamiliar stars filled the sky. Tomorrow, Krell hunters might come. Tomorrow, they might have to fight, or run, or hide. Tomorrow was uncertain and dangerous, but tonight, sitting by a fire with people who had crossed the galaxy for her, Liara felt something she had not felt in years. She felt free, and she completely forgot to care about being royal. The days blurred together in the jungle. Liara lost count again, but this time she did not mind. Each morning, day woke her before dawn. At first, she resented it. Princesses did not wake at dawn. But then she saw the sunrise through the jungle canopy, pink and gold light filtering through green leaves. She had never seen anything so beautiful. Day taught her to move quietly through the forest, how to step without snapping branches, how to listen for danger. Liara was clumsy at first. She tripped over roots, made too much noise, but she learned. Rin showed her which plants were safe to eat, which ones would make her sick. Liara had eaten from golden plates her whole life. Now she ate berries she picked herself. They tasted better than any royal feast. Byung taught her to fight. Just basic things, how to stand, how to hold a weapon properly, how to protect herself. He did not treat her gently because she was a princess. He treated her like a soldier in training. She appreciated that more than he knew. Even Quan helped. He showed her how to purify water, how to start a fire without matches, how to bandage a wound, useful things, real things. At night, they sat around the fire and talked. Day carved small animals from wood with his knife. He said it helped him think. He gave Liara a bird he carved. She kept it in her pocket, touching it sometimes to remind herself this was real. 1 week passed, then 2. Their beacon transmitted weekly. No one answered. "They are looking in the wrong place," Rin said one evening. "Or they are not looking at all." "They will come," Day said firmly. "We just have to survive until they do." But surviving got harder. The Krell found them on the 15th day. Liara was collecting water at a stream when she heard it, a sound that did not belong in the jungle, metal clicking, heavy footsteps, voices speaking in harsh Krell language. She froze. Her heart hammered. For a moment she was back in her cell, helpless, afraid. Then she remembered Day's training. Move quietly, get back to camp, warn the others. She left the water containers and ran. Not the clumsy run of before. She had learned. She moved between trees like a shadow, made almost no sound. She reached the cave out of breath. Krell, at the stream, maybe 5 or 6. Day did not waste time with questions. "Weapons! Now! Byung, north entrance. Rin, cover the supplies. Quan, you are on lookout despite that leg. Your Highness, stay in the back of the cave." "No!" Liara picked up the rifle Byung had been teaching her to use. "I fight with you." "Liara," Day started. "I am not going back to a cell. I am not hiding while others protect me. Not anymore." She checked the weapon like Byung taught her. "I fight with you. All of you." Day looked at her for a long moment. Then he nodded. "Stay behind me. Do what I say when I say it. Understand?" "Yes." The Krell came an hour later, 6 of them, large and armored, carrying heavy weapons. They moved through the jungle with confidence. They thought they were hunting 1 weak princess and 4 humans. They were wrong. Day's squad had prepared. They knew this cave, knew this jungle, knew how to fight when outnumbered. The battle was quick and brutal. Rin shot first from a hidden position. 1 Krell went down. The others scattered, taking cover. Byung threw an explosive that made 2 more fall. Liara stayed behind Day like he ordered. But when a Krell came around their flank, when it raised its weapon toward Day's back, she did not hesitate. She fired. Her hands shook. Her aim was not perfect, but she hit the Krell in the shoulder. It roared in pain and turned toward her. Day spun and finished it with 2 shots. "Good shot," he said quickly, then kept moving. Good shot. Those 2 words meant more to Liara than any praise she had received in court. The fight lasted 10 minutes. When it ended, 4 Krell were dead. 2 escaped into the jungle, wounded. "They will bring more," Byung said, checking the bodies for supplies. "We need to move, now." They abandoned the cave, took only what they could carry, and went deeper into the jungle. They walked for hours. Liara's feet hurt. Her body ached. She did not complain. They found a new place to hide, a cluster of tall rocks with thick trees around them. Not as good as the cave, but safer than staying in one place. That night there was no fire. Too dangerous. They ate cold rations and spoke in whispers. "You did well today," Day said quietly to Liara. "I was terrified," she admitted. "Being brave does not mean not being afraid. It means doing what needs to be done, even when you are afraid." Liara thought about that. About the months in her cell when fear had crushed her. About today when fear had made her sharp and quick instead. "Day, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Why do you carve? Those little animals from wood." He pulled out his knife and a piece of wood. Even in the dark, his hands knew what to do. "My grandfather taught me. He said when the world feels too big and scary, make something small and beautiful. It helps you remember that you have control over something, even if it is just a piece of wood." He worked in silence for a while. Then he handed her something, a small carving. She could not see it well in the darkness, but she felt it with her fingers. An animal with 4 legs, proud and strong. "What is it?" she asked. "A horse, from Earth. They are beautiful, free. They bow to no one." He paused. "Thought you might like it." Liara held the little wooden horse in her palm. This human soldier who owed her nothing, who had risked everything for her, had made her a gift, had thought of her while carving, had seen something in her that reminded him of freedom. She felt tears on her face. "Thank you." The next days were harder. The Krell hunted them constantly. They had to keep moving, sleep in shifts, stay alert always. But something strange happened. Liara did not break. She got stronger, harder, better. She learned to shoot while moving, learned to set traps, learned to think like a soldier instead of a princess. More than that, she learned what it meant to be part of a team. In the palace, everyone had served her. Here, everyone worked together. When Kwan's leg hurt too much to walk, Liara and Byung took turns helping him. When Rin got sick from bad water, Liara stayed up all night keeping watch so Rin could rest. When Day was too tired to think, Liara made the decision about which path to take. They trusted her, not because she was a princess, because she had earned it. 3 weeks after the crash, huddled in the rain under a makeshift shelter, Liara realized something. She had not thought about her title in days, had not worried about royal protocols or proper behavior, had not remembered to act like a princess. She had just been Liara, a person, part of a team, someone who mattered because of what she did, not who she was born as. Day sat beside her, keeping watch. Rain dripped through the leaves above them. "Day," she said quietly. When we get rescued, when we get back to civilization, what happens to me?" He looked at her. "What do you want to happen?" "I do not know. I have never been asked what I want before." "Then maybe it is time to start thinking about it." Liara pulled the wooden horse from her pocket, held it tight. "I want to be free, like this horse, like you humans are. You are a princess. You have all the freedom in the galaxy." She shook her head. "I have had everything except freedom. Every choice was made for me before I was born, every day planned, every word scripted." She looked at him. "But here, in this jungle, running for my life, eating berries and sleeping on the ground, I have felt more free than ever before." Day was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Freedom is not something someone gives you, Liara. It is something you take." She thought about that all through the long night, about what freedom would cost, what she would have to give up, what she might gain. Above them, through the rain and clouds, stars she did not recognize shone in an alien sky. And Liara, who had been born a princess, began to dream of being something else entirely. The Veltorian ships came on the 23rd day. They did not send a message, did not ask permission. They simply appeared in the sky like silver clouds and descended on the jungle. Liara saw them from their hiding spot. Her heart sank. She should have been happy, relieved, but all she felt was dread. "Your people," Day said quietly beside her. It was not a question. "Yes." "Then you are saved." Saved. The word felt wrong. The ships landed in a clearing. Veltorian soldiers poured out. They wore ceremonial armor that had never seen real combat. They moved in perfect formation, everything precise. Everything according to protocol. An officer spotted them. "Princess Liara, we have found you." Liara stepped forward slowly. Day and his squad stayed behind her. She felt their presence like an anchor. The last bit of freedom before chains closed around her again. "I am here," she said. The officer bowed. Perfect angle. Perfect depth. "Your Highness, Empress Valen herself has come to retrieve you. Please come with us. We will take you to the flagship." "And my companions?" The officer glanced at the humans like they were insects. "They will be processed according to protocol. Do not worry, Your Highness. You need not concern yourself with them anymore." processed. The word made Liara's blood turn cold. What does that mean? They conducted an unauthorized rescue mission, violated Krell's space, created a diplomatic incident. They will be questioned and dealt with appropriately. Liara turned to look at Day. He stood straight, his face blank. Soldier face, ready for whatever came. Beside him, Rin, Byung, and Quan looked the same, ready to accept punishment for doing what they thought was right. "No," Liara said. The officer blinked. "Your Highness, these soldiers saved my life. They risked everything for me. They will not be punished." "Your Highness, that is not your decision. The Empress will—" "I am going nowhere until I know they will be safe." The officer looked uncomfortable. "Please, Your Highness, the Empress is waiting. You must come with us now." Two soldiers moved toward her, not rough but firm. Escort, not request. Liara looked back at Day one more time. He gave her a small nod. "Trust. Faith. Whatever happens, we will be okay." She let them lead her away. The flagship was exactly like she remembered. Crystal walls, soft lights, servants everywhere. They took her to a chamber, and 3 attendants appeared immediately. They removed her dirty clothes, washed her, dressed her in royal robes of silver and blue, fixed her hair, applied cosmetics. Liara watched herself transform in the mirror. The dirty jungle survivor disappeared. The princess returned, perfect, polished, empty. They brought her to the throne room. Empress Valen sat on a chair of white stone. Her aunt, tall and cold and powerful. She looked at Liara the way someone looks at a lost possession that has finally been recovered. "Liara," the Empress said, "we feared we had lost you." Liara bowed. Perfect angle, perfect depth. Her body remembered even if her heart did not want to. "Thank you for coming for me, Empress. Of course. You are family. You are valuable." Valen stood and walked down the steps. She touched Liara's face with cool fingers. "Though I must say this ordeal has changed you. You seem different." 3 months in a Krell prison changes a person. "Yes, I imagine it does." Valen circled her slowly. "We have much to discuss. Your captivity was unfortunate, but also useful, in a way." "Useful?" "You became a symbol. The suffering princess, the victim of Krell brutality. We used your imprisonment to gain support in the Galactic Council. Several systems have shifted their allegiance to us." Valen smiled. It did not reach her eyes. "Your pain had purpose." Liara felt sick. "You used me." "Do not sound so surprised. You know how politics works. Everything serves the Empire, including you. Including your suffering. And my rescue? Ah, yes. That." Valen's expression hardened. "Your rescue by those humans was problematic. It makes us look weak, as if we could not save our own princess, as if we needed primitive humans to do what we could not. They are not primitive. They are brave. They risked everything." "They created a diplomatic nightmare," Valen interrupted. "The Krell are demanding their heads. The human government is demanding we release them. The Galactic Council is involved. It is a mess, Liara. A mess caused by 5 humans who should have minded their own business. They saved my life. They complicated your life. And mine." Valen walked back to her throne. "But we can fix this. We can turn it into an opportunity." "How?" "You will make a public statement. You will say the humans acted without your knowledge or consent. You will distance yourself from them. Then you will enter into a marriage alliance with Prince Theron of the Skalax Empire. It will stabilize your position and strengthen our political ties. In exchange for this cooperation, the humans will be pardoned and sent home." Liara stared at her aunt. "You want me to lie about the people who saved me? Then marry someone I have never met. A political marriage. Yes, it is very simple. And if I refuse? Valen's eyes went cold. Then the humans will be court-martialed by both human and Veltorian authorities. They will likely spend years in prison, possibly their entire lives. Is that what you want? Liara felt the walls closing in, the beautiful crystal walls of this ship, so much like the metal walls of her cell. Different material, same trap. I need time to think, she said quietly. You have until tomorrow. The announcement will be made at noon. Prepare yourself. That night, Liara stood alone in her assigned chambers. They had given her everything: soft bed, fine food, servants waiting for her every need, everything except freedom. She looked at herself in the mirror again. The princess looked back, perfect and hollow. She pulled the wooden horse from her pocket. Somehow, through all the washing and changing, she had kept it, hidden in her hand, a small rebellion. She thought about Day carving by firelight, about Rin teaching her to find safe plants, about Byung treating her like a soldier, about Quan making her laugh despite everything. She thought about running through the jungle, fighting Krell hunters. Eating berries, she picked herself, being afraid and brave at the same time. She thought about being Liara. Just Liara, not a princess, not a symbol, not a political tool. And she made her decision. The next morning, she requested an audience with the Empress. Valen granted it, expecting submission. Liara walked into the throne room wearing her royal robes. She stood straight, spoke clearly. I will not lie about the humans. I will not marry for politics. I will not return to being a princess. The room went silent. Valen leaned forward. What did you say? I renounce my title. I renounce my claim to succession. I renounce my place in this empire. Liara's voice did not shake. I choose freedom. I choose the people who showed me what honor really means. You are refusing your birthright, your duty, your family. I am choosing my life, my choice, my freedom. Liara pulled off the royal circlet from her head, set it on the floor. I am not your princess anymore. I am just Liara, and that is enough. Valen stood, her face cold with fury. If you walk away, you lose everything. Your title, your wealth, your protection, your name. You will be no one. Liara smiled, really smiled, for the first time since boarding this ship. Good. I want to be no one. Being someone has only brought me pain. You are a fool. Maybe. But I am a free fool. She turned and walked toward the door. Where will you go? Valen called after her. Liara looked back one last time. Wherever they will have me. The doors closed behind her. She stood in the corridor wearing royal robes she no longer had the right to wear, holding a wooden horse in her hand. Scared and excited and free. She had been a princess for 27 years. She would spend the rest of her life learning to be Liara, and she could not wait to start. Liara found them in the detention section of the ship. Day, Rin, Byung, and Quan sat in a holding cell. They were not in chains, but the door was locked. They looked up when she appeared. Your Highness, Day said, standing quickly. Then he saw her face and corrected himself. Liara. I am coming with you, she said. Rin blinked. What? I renounced my title. I told the Empress I am not a princess anymore. I am leaving with you, if you will have me. The four humans looked at each other. Then Quan started laughing. You gave up being a princess? For us? That is the most insane thing I have ever heard. I love it. Are you sure? Day asked quietly. Liara, you gave up everything, your family, your wealth, your entire life. I gave up nothing that was ever truly mine. Everything I had was because of birth, not choice. This is my choice. She held up the wooden horse. Someone once told me that freedom is not given. It is taken. So I am taking it. Day smiled, really smiled, the kind of smile that made his eyes warm. Then welcome to the squad. The Empress let them go. She had no choice. Liara had renounced publicly, in front of witnesses. There was no scandal in letting a commoner leave with other commoners. If anything, it made the problem disappear. They boarded a transport ship heading to Earth. It was old and crowded, and nothing like the luxury vessels Liara had known. She loved it. The journey took 3 weeks. Liara spent every day learning. Rin taught her basic medicine. Byung taught her hand-to-hand combat. Quan taught her to play cards and told terrible jokes that made her laugh until her stomach hurt. Day taught her about Earth. He showed her pictures of his family's farm, green fields, blue sky, a small house with a red roof, his mother and father smiling, his sister holding a baby, his niece who wanted to see the stars. "Will they accept me?" Liara asked one night. "Your family. I am an alien. I was a princess. I know nothing about farming or Earth customs or anything useful." "They will love you," Day said simply. "Because I do." Liara's breath caught. "What?" Day looked embarrassed. "Sorry, that was forward. I should not have—" "Say it again." He met her eyes. "I love you, Liara. Not the princess. Not the title. Just you. The person who grabbed a rifle despite being terrified. Who learned to fight and survive and laugh. Who gave up everything for freedom. That person. I love that person." Liara had been proposed to 5 times in her life. Always political. Always formal. Always empty. This was different. This was real. "I love you too," she whispered. "I think I have since you walked into my cell." They arrived at Earth on a clear spring day. Liara's first sight of the planet was blue oceans and green continents and white clouds. So much water, so much life. She cried at the beauty of it. The spaceport was chaos, loud and crowded and wonderful. No one bowed. No one cared who she had been. She was just another passenger in the crowd. Day's family met them at the landing pad. His mother hugged him hard. His father clapped his shoulder. His sister punched his arm and called him an idiot for going rogue. His niece, a small girl with dark eyes and wild hair, stared at Liara with wonder. "Are you really an alien princess?" the girl asked. "I was," Liara said, kneeling down to her level. "But not anymore. Now I am just Liara." "Just Liara is good," the girl decided. "I am just Hana. Want to see my drawings of spaceships?" Liara spent the next hour looking at a 6-year-old's drawings. It was the best hour of her life. The farm was everything Dee had described. Fields of growing things, animals that made strange sounds, a house that smelled like cooking and wood and home. Day's mother gave her a room, small and simple, nothing like her palace chambers. Liara loved it immediately. "You can stay as long as you need," Day's mother said. "No expectations, no pressure, just be, just be." Liara had never been allowed to just be before. The first weeks were hard. She did not know how to do anything. She burned food. She could not milk a cow. She fell in the mud trying to help in the fields. But no one laughed at her. They taught her, patiently, kindly. She learned to cook, to plant seeds, to feed animals, to fix broken things. Useful skills, real skills. At night, she sat on the porch with Day. They watched the sun set, talked about everything and nothing. His hand found hers. She held it tight. "Do you miss it?" he asked one evening. "Your old life?" Liara thought about crystal palaces and golden plates and servants and rules and expectations and loneliness. "No," she said honestly. "I miss nothing about it." No regrets. Only one. That I did not leave sooner. 6 months passed, then a year. Liara found work as a translator. Her knowledge of Veltorian culture and language was valuable, but she worked because she wanted to, not because she had to. The difference mattered. She and Day married in a small ceremony. No politics, no formality, Just friends and family and promises made from the heart? Liara wore a simple dress. Di wore a suit that did not quite fit. It was perfect. They built a life together, small and quiet and real. She helped on the farm. He taught at a local school. They adopted a dog that chewed everything. They argued about stupid things. They laughed more than they fought. They were happy. 5 years after her rescue, a Veltorian delegation came to Earth. They needed a cultural consultant for trade negotiations, someone who understood both Veltorian and human ways of thinking. Liara met them at a conference center. They stared at her. The former princess wearing simple clothes, her hands calloused from farm work, her hair short and practical, her face tanned from the sun. "Princess Liara?" one asked uncertainly. "Just Liara," she corrected. "I can help you with your negotiations, but I am no longer a princess. I am a translator, a farmer, a wife, a person, just Liara." They hired her anyway. She was very good at her job. The galaxy slowly learned what the Krell station and that jungle moon had taught her. Titles did not define worth. Birth did not determine destiny. And sometimes the most powerful thing a person could do was choose who they wanted to be. 10 years after walking out of her cell, Liara sat on her porch. Day sat beside her. Their daughter, 3 years old and fearless, played in the yard. She had her father's eyes and her mother's determination. She would grow up free to be whoever she wanted. "Regrets?" Day asked. It was a game they played sometimes. "None," Liara said, watching their daughter chase butterflies. "Not a single one." She thought about the girl she had been, the princess in the cell, broken and hopeless. She thought about the journey that brought her here, the pain, the fear, the hard choices. She thought about a human soldier who walked into her prison and reminded her she was alive. "Day," she said softly. "Yes? Thank you. For coming for me. For showing me what freedom looks like. For loving just Liara." He kissed her forehead. "Thank you for being brave enough to choose it." Above them, the Earth sun set in colors of orange and gold. Somewhere out in space, the Veltorian Empire continued without her. The galaxy turned. Politics happened. Wars were fought. None of it mattered here. Here, on this small farm on this beautiful planet, Liara was exactly who she wanted to be. Not a princess, not a symbol, not a title, just herself. And that was more than enough. Years later, when her daughter asked about her past, Liara would tell her the story. About a cold cell, about brave humans, about a jungle moon where she learned to fight, about the day she gave up a crown for freedom. "Were you scared?" her daughter would ask. "Terrified," Liara would answer honestly. "But you did it anyway." "Yes." "Why?" Liara would smile and pull out a small wooden horse, worn smooth from years of carrying. A gift from a soldier who saw more in her than a title. "Because someone showed me that I was more than what others told me I should be. And once I saw that truth, I could not unsee it." Her daughter would hold the wooden horse carefully. "I want to be brave like you." "Then be yourself, completely and without apology. That is the bravest thing anyone can do." The wooden horse would be passed down through generations, a reminder of the alien princess who forgot she was royal when a human soldier walked in, who chose freedom over crowns, who proved that sometimes the most important journey is not across the galaxy, but into becoming who you truly are. And in a small house on a farm on Earth, with a family built on choice instead of obligation, Liara lived happily ever after. Not because she was a princess, but because she was free.